Welcome to the Green and Gold Weekly at thegroupoftruth.net, where the Let's Speak. I'm Joe Pritchard, and with me is Don Horn. And Don, it sounds like it's pretty cold out where you're at right now.
Yeah, out here in the Rocky Mountains, it reminds me of the Ice Bowl. It's below zero here, in Colorado today. And I think the high tomorrow is about 6 degrees. Tonight will be about 15 below. Reminds me of waking up that morning of the Ice Bowl. Good morning, Green Bay. It's 13 below. The high, it's 15 below. The high will be 13 below. Good morning. What the heck is this?
Yeah, I've heard stories of Cowboy players waking up and hearing that and going, wait, where did this all come from? Because wasn't the day before a normal day, and all of a sudden it just dropped?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was a normal day for that time of the year, but it wasn't. It wasn't bitterly cold. And I remember waking up that morning and pretty much blue skies outside. There was a little snow on the ground. And, turn on the TV, and it was, good morning, Green Bay. What the heck? Me growing up in Southern California on the beaches, I look out there and see all the white stuff, and I'm hoping it's white sand, but it's not. It's snow.
Well, you're in a good place to get a lot more of that white stuff, too, so I guess you've adapted pretty well over the years, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, what's the weather prediction for Sunday up there in Lambeau? Is it? I know it's going to be cold. They're talking like single digits, I believe. But any snow predicted?
I haven't seen any snow. It seems like the weather pattern that's dropping into Wisconsin over the past day or so is lots of cold and lots of wind. But we're not going to see any sort of records being broken. It's just not going to be a very tropical feeling.
Yeah. You got to tell that to those Giants that took off and went down to Miami for a day or two, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I was actually the last time the Giants were in Green Bay was just earlier this year. I think it was the end of September or early October. It seemed like a few of them were cold then, and it wasn't a very cold night that night. I wonder how they're going to feel this time around.
Exactly. Yeah, let's hope they feel it. If nothing else, a mental thing. But a great game against the Lions. They beat a pretty good team, I think, back there in Detroit. And they gave them a pretty good battle for a while. But like I said, the Packers are looking as good as I've ever seen them look.
Yeah, let's go back to last week for just a little bit here. Yeah, Packers come out on top, win the division again on the last game of the season. Seems like that's a trend lately. And the offense sure looked like it was clicking on all cylinders, especially late in the fourth quarter where they decided to go ahead and put together a nice long drive to suck all the clock away from the Lions before the Lions could get too hot coming back.
Yeah. They just took total control of it, even they had a couple of adverse type of situations. They just battled through it and held off a pretty good Detroit Lion team. And I know we lost a cornerback. I think didn't we lose? I know both of our cornerbacks went down, but I think he's out this week, I believe, isn't he? Kind of concerned about the defense a little bit. I'm not concerned all about the offense. I'm worried a little bit about the defense this week, and I hope the heck we can hold Eli, in check like we did in October.
Yeah, that was a very good effort by the Packers defense. The first time around this season, Quentin Rollins had that scary-looking neck injury, and I don't believe he'll be playing this week from what I'm gathering. But the Packers actually brought up Herb Waters off the practice squad, who is a converted wide receiver, to fill in the corners. And I'm hoping to see a lot more Micah Hyde out there, too.
Micah Hyde. Yeah, what a great game he had against the Lions. Just a all-around good football player. Just an all-around good, solid football player. We have a doggone good team. And I'm looking forward to going down to Houston and watching them down there. In the Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying right now. They're playing that well.
Yeah, nobody's stopping the offense right now. Aaron Rodgers is playing. I remember 2011. I remember it just being absolutely fantastic as far as the offense goes. I remember 2014 being the same way. I don't know if I've seen the offense click the way they have in the past few games. It's just been great.
Yeah, I mean it's just they're just clicking on all cylinders, and I just hope they keep it going. I pray they keep it going, and I'm pretty confident that they will. But the Giants have a good team too, and I just want to I want the Packers to avenge those two upset losses that they had back in 2010 and 11, or was it was the championship game? Of course, I remember that one back in 2007 or 2008, I think, and then the one a few years ago when they lost the playoff game up there. I mean the Giants. When they get in the playoffs, the Giants, have had pretty good success against the Packers up in Lambeau the last few years, and I want them to cork that, stop that, turn it around this Sunday. Yeah,
I would love to see that. Definitely the link between those teams, those Giants teams that have beaten the Packers, is Eli Manning. But the Giants haven't been to the playoffs since 2011 when they upset the Patriots in the Super Bowl and beat the snot out of the Packers on the way there.
Yep.
They haven't been back though, and they've had a lot of turnover over the past 5 years in the NFL these days is a generation as far as teams go, and it's a completely different team we're seeing here now. I'm seeing that the Packers and Giants are very much opposite. The Packers are 4th overall in points scored, 21st points allowed. The Giants are 2nd in points allowed, but they go way down the list, down to 26th as far as points scored. So if there's not a lot of points going on, this is going to be a Giants type of game. But if the Packers can get the scoreboard clicking, they're going to be in a great position.
Yeah, but my offensive philosophy, like I said before, score early and score often, and then hopefully the defense can just hold them. But I think the Giants too. I mean, with this, with these guys, what is it? 7 or 8 of those Giant players took off and went all the way down, to Miami for a day or two. I mean, to me, that just shows kind of I know it's a different game today and a different type of person playing and the mentality, but that just shows me not quite the commitment that you the singleness of purpose, as Vince would say, and the commitment you would have to the overall goal of the team and the organization. They're more concerned about themselves, and I think they're pretty selfish. It's a pretty selfish act, from my perspective. Of course, I'm talking from another generation, but to me, it just shows an overall lack of discipline, so to speak, and I hope that will show up from the Giants' perspective when it comes when they show up Sunday afternoon up in Lambeau.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't like these players went and did that on a bye week. It's not like they even did it before last week, where the game didn't matter as far as the Giants' playoff position. They were stuck in number 5 no matter what. Now, mind you, they went ahead and did us a solid by knocking out the Washington Redskins and clinching the Packers a playoff spot before they even kicked off on Sunday night. But you could at least understand if they would have made that trip before the Redskins game when they didn't have a lot riding on it. But this is a playoff week. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, this is it's a whole other season right now, and to me, it's a habit, and again, as Lombardi would say, winning is a habit. You do it in the preseason, you do it during the season, and you do it postseason. And it's a habit. It's a singleness of purpose, and you're dedicated for that, and that's the way you should approach it. I think they're professionals, and they're certainly paid well, and they have to act professional. And unfortunately, I think too many of these players today don't carry through on that commitment that they should have, acting as a professional off the field, as they should. But I think the Packers have it pretty much together, and again, I think the coaching staff put together another strong game plan, both offensively and defensively, and control that game Sunday.
Yeah, you're going to absolutely love to see that here. Now, if things go the way we want to, the Giants will have plenty of time to go partying down in Miami. They won't have much to work for until after the draft, if things go the way we want them to.
Yeah. I want to send them back down there. Tell Aaron and everybody and Clay, go ahead and buy their tickets and send them back down to Miami Sunday night or Monday morning.
Yeah, I'm all for that, and I'm sure that they want to go to sunnier and warmer climates after they're showing up again on Sunday.
Yeah, we're gonna make that happen. Sooner rather than later. Tell them, we're going to show them Sunday. They can head south. Good point.
Now the Giants have been rather hot as of late. They did lose a couple near the end of the season, but after they lost to the Packers, they seem to get on a roll on their own, and their defense is not one to be trifled with.
Yeah, their defense is it's good. It's sufficient. It's a lot better than their offense has been of late. And you're right, they are playing better ball now than they were earlier in the season. Which is it's a good point. As we talk about playing good football into December and carrying that into January, those are the teams that usually go further. But the Packers are playing the best football I've seen them play in this year, and then I can't remember them playing that well the last 4, 5, 6 games as in the last few years. I just can't. They're playing great football, and I just hope to heck they can carry that through this Sunday and then beyond. I know they have some injuries. The Giants have some injuries. And they got a cornerback out on defense, which should help us a little bit. They got some defensive players out, another cornerback out, and I think Aaron on our offense is going to have hopefully a pretty good field day against them. And I just hope we can keep Eli below 200 yards passing again. That would be ideal if we could do that.
Yeah, he seems to save his best games for the biggest stages. One thing I did notice, though, looking at some numbers before coming on tonight here, is that the Giants haven't scored 30 points this season, but also haven't allowed 30 points or more this season.
Interesting.
It's amazing on how consistent they've been on the defensive end, but also their consistency on offense and not having a game where they've gone nuts. So from what I can tell here, this is probably going to be a tight game, and I think there's going to be 1 or 2 plays that are going to define which way this game goes.
Yeah, that's again, that's an old. I remember Coach Lombardi used to say that time and time again. He'd say, he'd get in the locker room, he'd say, "Gentlemen, of course, there's more plays today, but he says, that's probably, there's probably going to be 60, 70 plays out there this afternoon during this football game in total, and 4 or 5, maybe 6 of those 60 or 70 plays are going to determine the outcome of the game. And I wish I could tell you what's 4 or 5 or 6 plays those are going to be, but I can't. Therefore, you got to play every play. Every play you have to approach every play that you're in the game as one of those 4 or 5 or 6 key plays that are going to determine the outcome of the ball game, and that's so true. It could be 3 or 4 plays, it could be 1 or 2 plays, it could be half a dozen plays, but it always boils down to 2 or 3 plays or key plays that determine the outcome of the game, or definitely sets the momentum to turn it one way or the other.
Now, was there a change in tenor or tone in Green Bay when the playoffs hit, or was it just, this is business, let's keep doing what we've been doing?
Pretty much both. It was a habit, but different generation and different approach to coaching, I think, back then than now. But it was business as usual. But late in the season, we were much more focused, and Coach Lombardi and the staff was much more focused. But it was business as usual. It was another game, but we knew how important those games were. We didn't change anything, as far as our routine went, practice wise, etc. We were just a little more mindful, and I guess, at least we thought we were. We'd pay a lot more attention in the meetings because, we knew it was, we had to win this game to go on to the next step.
Right, and you knew you were facing an opponent that was going to bring it that week. If I'm not mistaken, the Rams had only lost one game back in '67 with a couple ties. And then of course the Cowboys, they had been around. So
I know they beat us a couple of weeks early out in L.A. We had we had them on the ropes out there. They had a great record out there. I mean, they had a good team. We had a great team that year. And they beat us right at the end of the game on a blocked punt, kind of to set up the winning touchdown. And, we were really, because, we played the heck out of that game, Bart and everybody and Donnie Anderson, and we had a great game against them. But, we came out on the short end of that just with a couple of bad plays, a couple of those 2 or 3 or 4 plays that determined the outcome of the game. And then, a couple of weeks later, they come back, and I think we played them down in Milwaukee at County Stadium, and we were real focused in, and I think we beat them 28-7. And it was a pretty tight game there, first quarter, first 20 minutes of the game. Then we kind of broke it. If I recall, we kind of broke it open late in the second quarter with Travis Williams, and that kind of set the tempo to go on all the way, and we won the Super Bowl that year. Gosh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, but the memories still seem pretty fresh, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. Something you never forget.
And a different tone and tenor those days too. I mean, it almost seemed like for the first few seasons anyway that what would become the Super Bowl was even a little bit of an afterthought. It was still a game you really felt like you had to win, but the NFL championship was the one that people respected a little bit more so until the next year, of course, when the Jets decided to show everybody that the AFL was definitely for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that game. I know the first couple of Super Bowls, Coach Lombardi, he didn't want to, no way was he about to lose to the AFL at that point in time. And I remember watching that, from the sidelines, that Baltimore Colt team that year, and we almost beat them up in Lambeau. I think we lost 16-9 up there, right it was in December. And watching that Baltimore Colt team of 60, I think it was 68. Yeah, it could be, the 68 team or the 69 team, whatever, whether it was the third Super Bowl. That was one of the finest football teams I've ever saw in my life. I still maintain to this day, it's funny you brought that up, if they'd have played 5 games, I think the Baltimore Colts would have won 4 of them. And I know a lot of guys on both of those teams today, and I don't get too much argument out of that, but it's just one of those freak things that Joe Willie and the Jets were destined to win that game.
No, but that's one of those things, like you were telling us before. One of those things where a couple plays this way or the other way, and we're talking about a completely different scenario. Of course, different
outcome on that one. Yeah. I don't know how we got on that subject. That brings back memories, but yeah. Now we got to get back and get the Packers on that path, and they're on that path. I think they win this week, they make the next step, and I think if they win this week, I believe they would play. Here we again talk about them the following week, which we shouldn't, but we did that last week a little bit. If they win this week, then I think they go down and catch Dallas down in Dallas, I believe. But of course, we got to get past the Giants Sunday and send them packing down to Miami again.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll be happy to make that trip, but I'm sure they were hoping to make it in February instead of January. But it'd be nice to see the Packers play a little travel agent here and make the arrangements for them. But first things first, they gotta get them on the field, and we've seen over the past.
Like you said, Joe, our offense is really clicking. What Aaron's throwing 17 or 18 touchdown passes now, and I don't believe he has any interceptions the last 6 or 7 games. The offense is just, they're just clicking on all cylinders. I mean, they're just, and Montgomery's playing well again. Great. Like you said, Hyde is coming through. I mean, and then Randall might be back this week too, right? Cobb, is he probable this week, or do we know yet?
I think he's possibly available, but I don't know if we have a final word on that quite yet. I know that they're anticipating him being back at some point here in the playoffs, assuming they keep moving on, but I do not know if he is ready quite yet this week. Although it seems like they've found a way to make it work without him.
It sounds like, they're playing lights out. And I got to give credit to that offense. I got to credit, to everybody in the team and the coaching staff particularly. They're putting together great game plans and, working their fannies off, coming up with some solid approaches to the game and with some good success. And, of course, execution on the field by these guys, that determines the outcome. And like we said earlier, our guys are, I think, pretty well focused on what the mission is, more so than hopefully the Giants are when they can't even, that still bothers me that they take off and go to Miami for a couple of days. It's not like going to Jersey. It's not like going to Jersey. They go all the way to Miami. That's like somebody taking off from Green Bay and going down to Houston or going to LA or something. I guess I don't know.
I know a full day of travel beats me up pretty good. But
yeah.
I imagine these guys are in a lot better physical condition, but you're taking yourself mentally out of the game too for at least the day you're down there. But I guess more on Cobb here is that it looks like he was practicing today, so that's good news here. But I do want to also bring up, while we're on the subject of our wide receivers, it looks like Ted Thompson found yet another gem in Geronimo Allison.
Yeah.
I just see all the time on the social media networks that anytime something goes wrong, Packer fans want to blame Thompson for not bringing this guy in, not bringing that high-expensive guy in, but he always seems to find the guys that it will come in and work and click in on this team. And I've even seen a few things here and there about how Thompson may be near the end of his run in Green Bay, and I'm just sitting here thinking, I sure hope not. It's been a pretty good one.
Well, that's a key. You bring guys in, not only good football players or great football players, but you want guys with good character, as much good character as you possibly have, and more of a team type of a player. And again, going back to Coach Lombardi, sometimes he would have two ball players. One of them might be a little better talent-wise or physically a better ball player than the other guy, but maybe the guy that wasn't quite as good physically as a football player was coachable, and he was more of a team player, and he had better character. Therefore, Vince would rather have him, and he'd cut the guy with a little more talent, send him walking because he didn't think he would fit into the overall scheme, of the team and what the goals are, and the commitment to what the mission is, and that's to go all the way and win a championship.
Yeah, if anybody knows about doing that, it would definitely be Vince Lombardi. What was it, 9 seasons and 5 championships?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. And then was it that first year? Was it 1960 when he ran out of time?
They ran out of time that year, and then after that, they never ran out of time again.
Yeah, that's what Vince said. He didn't lose the game, ran out of time. I remember. Yeah, like I mentioned, I was talking to Jerry Kramer a couple of weeks ago, and Jerry said, he said that doggone Chuck Benerick laid on Jim Taylor, wouldn't get up, and time ran. He said, he tackled Jim at about the 2 or 3 yard line, and laid on him there and wouldn't let him get up, and they couldn't get back in to stop the clock, run another play, and he ran out of time.
Vince was definitely true to his word. They never ran out of time against the playoffs.
Yeah. Now, when the Giants come up, or do they still go down to Appleton and stay down in Appleton? Do they come up Sunday morning, or do we know?
Yeah. I believe there is a hotel in Appleton that still is doing the honors of hosting the opposing teams. Seems like they get every single one now down in Appleton instead of down Green Bay like it used to be. Now they get to be sequestered a bit down in Appleton, and sounds like that hotel staff is trained pretty well on how to keep things running smoothly to keep the any partisans from getting anywhere near or disrupting what's going on, and definitely a change from years past, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then they have to take the bus trip up there, and hopefully everybody throws. I'm pulling for the Packers so much this Sunday. It's unbelievable. I'll be watching that game with a lot of people, and like I said, I have my plans already to go to Houston and watch the Green and Gold participate down there and in the Super Bowl 51.
Well, so far so good. I mean, ever since you've joined the show, we've always had good things to talk about. You've always been pointed toward that goal, and it doesn't seem to have. It seems every week it gets a little bit closer. Hopefully, it keeps rolling that way.
Yeah, we just got to get we got to get some holy water, throw it on the field, make sure the offense keeps clicking, and the defense can slow down Eli and those guys, and then they were going to come out on top.
All right. Well, that is definitely the hope of everybody in Packer Nation here. Anything else for this week, or should we move on to next week? And hopefully, we're talking about yet another Packer victory.
Yeah, let's get together next week, and we'll talk about the victory over the Giants and what we're going to do to prepare for the Cowboys.
I like that. We'll have a few horror stories to tell about the playoffs in Dallas, and probably a few better stories about playoffs that weren't played in Dallas. So we'll go ahead and sign off for this week anyway. That is the Green and Gold Weekly at thegreenandgold.net, where the legends speak.